It's Storytime Tea. That's me, and today I'm finally wrapping up this story about this trip. Okay, so just lock in, just pay attention, and just stick with me on this road. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, and I'm not going to give that much detail on the stuff. Like in the past videos, I missed a lot of stuff. I don't care. I'm just gonna keep on telling the story until it's done. Okay, but it's day 5, and at this point, I've spent a lot of time with him, and even though I asked him specifically to just tell me exactly what it was that this man wants, and he did not tell me both times that I asked, I have gathered enough information and had enough conversations with him to know what he wants, okay? So the day before, I messed up. I can admit that. I went off of his words and not his actions. So on day 5, I went based upon his words and his actions, okay? So he wasn't going to trick me into saying anything to make him mad at me. He wasn't going to do that to me today. Today, I had everything planned out. So when that night concluded, night 4, I was just like, all right, day 5, I'm going to plan everything. But instead of telling him, hey, we're going to do this, I'm going to have everything planned out, hour by hour, suggestions, all that stuff, everything already planned out. But I'm just going to ask him what it is that he wants to do. Even though I already have it planned, I'm going to ask him. And you know why? Because even though he doesn't want to be in charge, he wants to feel like he's in charge. He wants me to do everything, all of the work, but he still wants it to seem like he's the man and the leader and the one in charge, okay? So we got to play this a certain type of way. So I planned out the day. And instead of telling him, hey, we're going to go to the botanical garden and then go to the zoo, I was like, hey, was it in your plans today to go to the botanical garden and the zoo? And he was just like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what would you want to do first, the botanical garden or the zoo? And he's like, the botanical garden. I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, since we both woke, do you want to get breakfast together? He's just like, yeah, that would be nice. I'm just like, okay. Do you want to eat here or do you want to go somewhere and get something to eat? He was like, I would really like to eat here. And I was like, okay. And so I put my little clothes on and that's what we did. Y'all already had that in my plans. I literally wrote down all of that stuff in that exact order. But you know, he's the man. He puts everything together. I'm putting it together, but you know, I gotta consider him. That's what he said. He said I don't consider him enough. And so I'm gonna consider him, okay? So we go to this breakfast bomb. And this was the first time like we ate actual food from the country, because every meal that we had so far was just like random like Indian food, random Asian food. We had the ramen with the little chicken in there, the jerk chicken or whatever. So like everything that we had was like not native to the country we was in. And we finally had some native to the country we was in food. And I was like, you know, it was solid. I don't really think anybody can mess up breakfast for real. I just think that every part of the world knows how to make breakfast. That's what I'm gonna make the assumption of. You know, because you don't really need that many seasonings in breakfast for it to be good. So, you know, for the most part, it should be cool. So after we finish our breakfast, we go to the botanical garden. And I knew that he would like the botanical garden. I'm pretty sure he said he had never been to one before, but I've never been with somebody that was just like, that was trash. I don't like botanical gardens. That has never happened to me before. So like that's always something that I suggest because it's just very beautiful. Like why wouldn't you want to be around a bunch of plants and all the nature and everything like that? Like it's just really pretty. And then it's like, usually it's like mostly indoors or like half indoors, half outdoors or whatever. And so it's just like, it don't matter what type of weather it is, you'll still be able to go. And then also it's not a lot of bugs because usually it's indoors for real. So it's really nice. You get all of the beautiful outside nature stuff, but no bugs. And the bugs is the thing that make people not like nature usually. So yeah. And we go there. We're there for like a little while. This was like the longest experience that we had together where he didn't end up like being a complete and utter ridiculous mess. Like he was just enjoying the outsideness. He said a couple of ridiculous things, but very manageable. He was just looking at the trees and looking at the little flowers and everything. And then I took like 1,000 pictures of him. Yo, I took so many pictures of him in front of trees. Like I took so many pictures of him in front of flowers. And I just was taking the best pictures of him. I had all of the angles. Like he looked good. I said, look at me, the photographer, as I do. And so after like we had sort of kind of got towards the end of the botanical garden, I was like, oh, can you take some pictures of me? Y'all, he literally took one picture of me. And I was just like, what am I going to do with one picture? If somebody asks you to take a picture of them, they do not mean take a picture of them. They mean take an array of pictures, because you're not going to take a good one the first time. It don't work like that. If you take like 10, probably one going to look good, because you're not a photographer. So it's just like the way the lighting be set up, and the way winds work, and the way people be shutting their eyes sometimes, and the way clothes lay on bodies. Like, it's no way for you to get a good picture if you just take one. Like, please be for real. So after he took that one little picture of me and he gave me my phone back, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to ask him to take another picture of me, because he going to make me mad. And I'm not being mad today. I'm being very happy today. We're both going to be extremely ecstatic the entire day. I refuse to be upset with you today. We're going to be good. So I just took my little phone back to take some selfies in front of some shit. And I was like, all right, cool. We're good. And we finished out the botanical garden. Mind you, obviously, I walked us there. And we were in an entire new area of like the city, country, whatever. We was in a whole new area because we took like a different train than we usually take, and it landed us in this area that we had never been in before, and it was more like townspeople. It was less like the city where our hotel was. So once we walked out of there, we had to go and take like another train that we hadn't been on yet. Like, I think it was like a new station, but the same train as the last train we took. And so I walked us there, obviously, because I'm the tour guide. Like, not only am I the planner, I'm the tour guide, okay? And I have my mace. I'm protecting us, all right? I'm the bodyguard. Like, references to the last videos. So, yeah, I go. I'm taking us to the train. We get there. We get on the train. We get off. When we get off, we in a whole new area again. So, this is a place that we had never been before. And it was like a more touristy area than where the botanical garden was. And we're trying to go to the zoo. So, obviously, like, the zoo is usually an attraction that tourists want to go to. And so, it's like, it's in like a more city part of the whole little thing. And where we get off, everything is in the other language. So, you know, we can't just look at signs and be like, all right, this is where we go. But use my common sensicals, and I figured out where we was going. He thought that we were lost, and he asked somebody for directions, but she didn't know where she was going. And she told us to go in the opposite direction in which I knew that we should be going. And I was like, hey, look, you know, just trust me. We're going to go this way, and we're going to be good. So we walked down the street a little bit, and then I seen a sign that had little animals on it. So I'm like, must be the zoo. And so then I go in that direction of the sign, which was still us going straight. Like, I just knew when we got off the subway. I was like, it looked like we go that way. I just knew. I just felt it in here. So we just walked that way. And then once we got a little further down, it wasn't no more signs telling us where to go, but I could see in the distance, it looked like it was like elephants or something. Or like gorillas. I don't know what's outside of that daggone thing, but I know it was like some big animals outside of the zoo. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the zoo. And so we go and we go. We get there. He's just like, oh my gosh, we made it to the zoo. How did you know this was the way? I'm just like, I literally walk everywhere because I don't drive. So I just use my common sense. I just felt like that's where the zoo was, and the zoo was there. So, you know, I just be finding things. Okay, so we get into the zoo. Mind y'all, I've never been to the zoo in my entire life, so I'm excited as shit. I'm trying not to be so hype. But I've never been to the zoo before. And like, I think the only thing I ever did was go to the aquarium in Atlanta because they said that was like the best aquarium, so I wanted to go to it. So I went to the aquarium in Atlanta, and then I never been to no other aquarium, and I never been to the zoo ever. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a zoo and it's in a different country. Turn up, like I'm about to see all of the animals and I can't wait. So I'm like so excited, but I was like, I'm gonna tone down my excitedness because I don't want to affect his emotions with my emotions. So I got to be at a certain level of happiness for real. And so I try to mellow myself out, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And so once we in there, they give us like this guide, and the guide has English on one side and then the other language on the other side. So we're like, all right, well, the zoo is like it has like all these different like little parts, and then this is the center, and you're here, and da da da. And so it has the whole map out. And so we were just like, you know what? We're gonna start with the birds, because the birds is literally right here as soon as you walk over. And we kind of were just gonna follow the path of the map instead of like just doing our own thing. So we went over to the birds. We saw all of the birds. I'm not really impressed by birds. I see birds all the time. I was trying to see something real for real. So I'm like, where are the other animals? But he seemed pretty happy with the birds. We looking at all the enclosures and everything like that. We reading some of the signs or whatever. This is the most I've seen him read on his daggone trip, y'all. Because every time we gotta read something, this man refuses to read. I'm just like, do you know how to read? And so like, we go, and once we get past the birds, I think it was maybe elephants or something like that, or whatever. But I seen them. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so big. Free these elephants. They need more space. And so I was sad about the elephants, and I was like, move to the next section. And so we go to the next section, and then we get to the monkeys. Y'all, I never told y'all this, but I'm obsessed with monkeys and giraffes. They are my favorite animals. When I was little, I wanted to be a monkey or a giraffe. I was just like, why am I in this human body? I want to be out in the wild. I want to be in the trees. And I always thought that I was going to be tall, and I always wanted to be tall, so I identified with giraffes. And monkeys just seem like they be having fun, so I always identify with monkeys. But y'all, whatever. I get to the monkeys, and I'm like, oh my god, it's monkeys! And then I'm running around the daggone thing, just like all the little kids, all the little 8-year-olds running around like, ah! That's me. Running around. And so I get to the little thing, and I'm just like, and I'm reading the list side, and I'm looking up, and I'm reading the list side, and I'm like, ooh, that's the one that's right here. Y'all, I'm really 7. So I'm literally having the time of my life inside the zoo. And then I just look over to out of the corner of my eye, and like, it just seemed like he hated. I don't know. Maybe it's not hate. Let's just say it's boredom. But it seemed like he hated. Because I'm just like, you was so excited about these birds and these elephants. We get over to the monkeys, and I finally decide to not be as mellow as I was, because I was regulating my emotions, but I'm too excited about these monkeys. And now that I'm so happy, you hating. Look at you. Why are you not smiling no more? You were smiling the whole time. You've been smiling for the last 4 hours. And now look at you. Look at you. Why? Why are you doing this to me? And so I was just like, all right, let me bring it back down. Bring it back down. I'm just like, oh, do you not like monkeys? Trying to like start up a little conversation with him. He's just like, oh, well, you know, I've seen this type of monkey before. I'm not impressed. I said, my bad. I'm sorry. And so then we go down, and it's like more monkeys or whatever, because there was different kinds or whatever. We go down, and I see this one, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I didn't know monkeys had those type of colors for real. Like, I love monkeys, but I don't be researching monkeys. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, look at him. He got like 3 little colors on him or something. I'm like, he's so cute. And then he came over. I'm just like, oh snap. He coming over to me. I'm like, hey. He like, hey. I'm like, oh snap. I just was too excited. All right, I'm spending too much time on these monkeys. So we leave, and we go into the other section. And it's like, we see pandas and like all this other stuff. We just go through, you know, penguins, all that good stuff. And then we finally get to where like he wanted to be. I think that like maybe he was rushing me on the monkey side because he wanted to see these cats. He said he identified with tigers and he identified with lions because he's so strong and like he can lead a pack and da da da. So he wanted to see the cats. He was not worried about nothing else. So he was just trying to rush over there. And then I seen the giraffes. Almost lost my mind. But I kept it cool. I'm just like, it's fine. It's just giraffes. But I gotta see these giraffes. So I try to get close. I'm like, I'm like, all right, I gotta see these giraffes. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go over here. Like, if you want, you could go over there. And then like, but I gotta go over here and I gotta see these giraffes. And they're like, they're not, like their booties was outside and their heads was inside because somebody was feeding them. So I was like, I gotta go inside and see the front of these giraffes. I gotta see them. If I don't see them, I'm gonna pass away. I'm just like, I'm literally gonna pass away. I gotta see these giraffes. And so I run. But I try to do it in like a smooth, cute little way. Because I think I had on like a dress or something. I get over there. I'm just like, giraffes. And then they all beautiful and majestic. I'm just like, ah. Okay, let me move on. So I finally get away from the giraffes. I go over there with him and the lions or whatever. So we're over there at the cat enclosures and everything like that. The cats are hiding. obviously they love to do that. Animals that are captured do not want people to be parting at them and poking at them, throwing things at them, trying to feed them, whatever. Like, they don't mess with you. They want to go home. So, like, being as though that's the case, the cats were just like, bruh, get out of here. So they had like half of their enclosure inside, half outside, just like with the giraffes. So we were on the outside part and we only ended up seeing one of them. So he was like, we gotta go to the inside part so maybe that we could see the other ones. Because I think it was like 5 or 6 different types. So since we only seen the one on the outside, we was like, we're gonna go inside. We went inside. The first 2 enclosures, we didn't see anything. I'm like, is there any animals in there? Or as soon as we came on the inside, did he go outside? We didn't see any. So he kind of got a little annoyed, but I'm just like, you know what? It's more enclosures. Some of them is gonna be in here. And so we walk a little bit and then we see one. So he get really excited. He start talking about like how he identifies with the cats and everything, and how like he always loves to see the cats whenever he goes to the zoo. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, encouraging him to talk more. I'm like, yeah, I don't be asking you questions so bad, so let me ask you like 30 questions right now. Tell me more. I'm interested. Very. And so he's telling me more about his like situations and his past dealings with cats and then whatever. So whatever, we go on. And so we leave out of there and we like look at other little things, but we're less interested in other animals because we've seen our favorite animals already. But we're still looking at all the little animals and we're just talking about like what we're gonna do later on, da da da. We talked about there was a carnival or something that was happening that night, so we was just like, we could go to the carnival later on, whatever. So we leave out of there, and after we leave out of the zoo, he's just like, he's hungry. But y'all, I already knew that, and I already had 3 different restaurants that I had in mind. But you know what I did? I took out my phone and I said, look at this. I was like, we could do this, right? Scroll through the pictures. That look good, don't it? And then I said, boop, we could do this. Scroll through the pictures. That look good, don't it? And boop, scroll through the pictures. That look good, don't it? I'm like, which of these 3 restaurants do you want to go to? He's just like, you know what? That second one looked better. Let's go to the second one. I said, great. That was the one I already picked. And I mapped out where exactly we go from the zoo to that spot. Who am I? Who am I? I'm the ultimate planner. Stop playing with me. So we go into the little spot. It's like a Thai spot or something like that. Nah, Indian spot. It's an Indian spot that has like all of the basic things that you would think would be in there, like the most, American known Indian food. Okay, obviously there's butter chicken in there. There's butter chicken in there, and garlic naan, all that. So we go there, and once we like getting close, like it's like, oh, you need to go this way, you need to go this way. Obviously, I took us the right way. He's just like, oh my gosh, you know where to go. I'm just like, yes, I do. I memorized the whole landscape. Yes, it was me. And so we get in there, food bomb. He meets this black guy and this white girl was sitting at the table. While we were waiting for our food, they were already eating their food, and so he started talking to them. I did not tell you this in the past, but he often said, I don't need friends. I'm a nomad. All I need is myself. I fly with the wind, and I'm at one with the world. He loves to say that. But he met this guy. He was so excited he met them. After they left, he's just like, see, I make friends anywhere. I can relate with anybody. Everybody loves me. I'm just like, oh, okay. I could have just swore like 3 seconds ago you told me that you don't need friends and you don't have any friends. But all of a sudden, you meet somebody and you talk to them for 10 minutes and you made a friend. Boy, get the fuck. So we moved, and after we ate all our food and it was so good, I had leftovers, and we were just like, all right, we're gonna go back to the hotel. We were gonna like split up in the middle of the day because I think he wanted to go to get drinks, and I wasn't trying to drink every single day that I was there. I had 2 days that I was going to drink, and then the other days I wasn't going to drink because I'm like, bruh, this is like a 12-day trip. I'm not drinking every day. It's too many days. And so like I had those 2 days that I had already drank. Like this day in particular was not a day that I was finna drink. So I was like, you could go to the bar and everything. While you at the bar, I'm going to take a shower, and then if you're not back, I'm going to go to the mall. We like, all right, so we get in there, we separate. He like changed his clothes, went to the bar, and then I got in the shower and I went to the mall. In our past conversations, as I said, he said that I don't consider him enough, that I don't pay attention to his wants and his needs. And so what I did at the mall is went all the way out of my way to go to like 4 different stores to try to find him a gift. Y'all, I was struggling. I could not find him something that looked like he would wear it. And then I went to like a little shop or whatever. I went to like a little thrift store. And then I also went to like 2 little boutiques. I could not find something. Then I was like, you know what? I gotta look with a different mind. I got on the phone with my best friend. And I'm just like, yo, I'm going to find something for this man. So then I went into the store that I would have never went into. And I found him some jewelry, okay? Because I knew what size his ring finger was, and I knew what size his other finger was, because I could just look at people's fingers and I can guesstimate the right thing, usually. So I was just like, this ring gonna fit. This ring looked like something that he would wear. You know what? I'm gonna get him another one just in case he don't like the style of this one. This one is a different style and he gonna like this one. So I got him 2 little gifts, okay? I also got like my mom, I think I got my mom something, and then I had got something for the guy that I was talking to. So yeah, I got that, and then after that I left the mall and I was coming back. On this trip, we didn't have a car or anything, and even though we was catching the subway, we did a lot of walking. Like a lot of things, it was just like you get off the subway and you walk like 14 minutes or whatever. I only had 2 pair of shoes that were like walking shoes, and on this day I hurt my foot. But when I first hurt my foot, it was like on my walk back from the mall, and so my foot was hurt, but like I couldn't identify why it was hurt. Okay, so I went back to the hotel, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to soak my little feet because I don't know why they hurting, but maybe it's just because I've been walking a lot, so, you know, whatever. So I soaked my little feet until he had came back. He was like, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah. So I didn't say anything to him about my foot being hurt because I didn't want that to affect anything going on with him. I just wanted it to be what it was. So we had went, and when we had got off the subway to the carnival, it was like this long little walk or whatever. This thing in particular, we looked it up together, so like we both knew like where we were going at and everything, and we could have got on the bus, but he didn't want to get on the bus, so I was just like, okay, we just gonna walk, I don't care. And so like we walk or whatever, and on the walk, like usually he would be like, he walks kind of fast. So like on past days, he's just like, I'm surprised you could keep up with me, whatever, whatever. Like little compliments like, oh, look at you, you walk mighty fast, da da da, whatever. This is literally like one of the only nice things that he said to me the whole vacation, yo. I cannot lie. So like, so he was just like, yeah, you really keep up with me. I don't gotta worry about you falling behind. I know that you right there. If I'm walking, you gonna be right beside me, whatever, whatever. On this day, obviously, after I messed my foot up, I'm walking a little different. So like I wasn't walking flat on my feet anymore. I was walking more like this because like whenever my foot touched the ground flat, it hurt. And I was like, I ain't doing that. So I was doing a little as I walked for real. And so like after we walked for like 14 minutes, he's just like, you good? And I'm just like, yeah, I hurt my foot. And he was just like, but you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good for real. I was not good. I was not good for real or for fake. But I was like, I'm good for real. We kept on walking. We eventually got to the carnival. On our, when we was arriving, he was just like, what is the carnival like? Because I never been to a carnival before. I'm like, have you been to a fair before? I'm like, fairs and carnivals are basically the same thing. It's just like carnivals have a little bit more rides. Fair has a little bit more animals. And a carnival, it's going to be like, most likely it's going to be like more stuff for you to do and like more of like a circus feel kind of sometimes, depending on the people that's in charge of the carnival. And he was just like, oh, okay, okay. And we get there, we get on some rides and stuff, like we go on the Ferris wheel, whatever, whatever. We look over the land, we just like, we're going to do this next, we're going to do this next. And we just walking around and everything like that. After a little while, we got hungry, so we ate some food native to the land. I said, look at us, native to the land food. Tasting good. Okay, y'all. Like, we was really living our lives in this land in particular the whole entire day. We only did things that was specific to the country we was in the whole entire day. So, it was really nice. And, like, obviously I planned it. But, so, we had got off of there, and after we had left from eating that, he was just like, you want to do a little competition? I said, you shouldn't have said that. I was like, I don't care if my foot messed up. I'll race you right now. But that's not what he wanted to do. He wanted us to go shoot some arrows. So we went to go shoot these arrows. Either this was my first time or my second time shooting arrows, because I know I've done it before, but I don't know if the time that I did it was after I had went with him or before, because it's been a little second. So yeah, I think it was my first time ever shooting arrows. And so he went first and he shot. He was not good at all. I would have thought that he would have been good at it. He was not good at all. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm ready to turn up on this nigga. This is crazy. I started shooting my shit. Yo, the way his facial expression changed after I popped that third balloon. Like, he popped like 2 balloons, y'all. After I popped that third balloon, he just like, yo. Because it was just like the man had gave us, I want to say he gave us 7 balloons on the thing. And he gave us 7 arrows, and we were supposed to shoot him. He only shot 2 of them. Like, he did terrible. And then I really was shooting him. So I shot like 5 of them. And then he was just like, I know you did this plenty of times before. And I'm just like, no, actually, this is my first time doing this. And, you know, I'm surprised. I'm just as surprised as you. I try to hide it in myself. I was like, I'm not going to stun on him like that. I was like, it's already bad enough I beat him. It's already bad enough I beat him. I'm not going to add no extra stuff to it. I was just like, you know what? Beginner's luck, you know, like, whatever. He was like, it was my first time, and so that's why I didn't do that good. I was just like, I know. Like, shut up. like, why can't you just lose and just be a good loser? Why do you gotta say it was your first time and I got beginner's luck, but you don't got beginner's luck? Like, bruh, that's not how beginner's luck work. Like, shut up. And so I was like, you're a clown, but it's cool. I want you to be in a positive mood. So I just started giving him all these excuses on why I had did better instead of him. I was like, you know, because, like, you know, I'm, like, much shorter, and then, like, the way, like, you hold the arrow and, you know, the bow, and, you know, it's, like, it's different because, like, the arm length play a factor. Like, your arm's way longer than mine, and I just started talking shit. And so he's just like, yeah, that's why. I'm like, I was like, I'm not going to have nobody be mad at me because I just cooked their shit. Like, all I did was win. And I had to win because I just could not lose. I'm so sorry. Like, it's like sometimes where I'm just like, oh, I'm going to lose to be cute. But, like, you're not my man. I'm not losing to be cute with you. I don't know you like that. You're my friend. And I'm going to cook you. So, then after that, we had left a little earlier and he wanted to do, like, something else. I had got 2 prizes, by the way. I got 2 prizes, and I think he got none. Because I think you had to, like, flatten 3 balloons for you to get a prize. And, yeah. So I had got, like, these little pillows, and they were so cute. And, yeah, so I'm a winner. And we had left, and then we had went and got on this little thing that he wanted to get on. It was, like, very, like, regular, and we shouldn't have did it, and we wasted our money. But, you know, experience. It was his first carnival. I wanted him to get to do everything that he wanted to do. And so I think we did like one more like little competition thing, and I was just like, I'm not going to cook him this time. I'm going like even it out. And so I let him go first, and then I did mine, and I made it just as his. I was like, oh dang, I missed it. Cause I think like we was like shooting guns or like shooting water. You know the little thing. Like the little water little thingies, and then you splash it into the holes or whatever. So yeah, I just did just as well as him. That's it. I wasn't going to do no better. I didn't want him to be mad at me. And he was like, yeah, you almost had me, but then I won. Because at the end of the day, I'm him. I said, yeah, you him. I was laughing at this man the whole time in my head. I'm like, yo, you're a clown. Like, you're really a clown. Why do you need to win to feel like, all right, never mind. It's whatever. Move on. So we're leaving the carnival, and like we're on our way back to the subway. Y'all, by this time it's like really late, and like we're having like a great time. We're both in a great mood. We're talking about all this different stuff, and then like we had to walk through like a couple of trees to get to like a little tunnel, and then once you get past the tunnel, then you would be at the subway. So we're doing that, and the whole entire time that we were there, he kept on saying, I don't want to say like, not like racial. It was like racial things that he was saying. Like he was making fun of the people, and he wasn't like, whispering or anything or just saying something to me privately. He would just say it out loud, like in the voice that I'm speaking in, my speaking voice. He would say these things, and we would like be on the subway or whatever, and then like he said the people that live there, like he was just talking really bad about these people. I'm not even gonna say what he said, but he was doing stuff like that, and I'm just like, bro, relax, like chill out. Like what's wrong with you? Like, how you gonna come to somebody else's country and you trying to make fun of them? And he's like, oh, it don't really matter, they probably don't even speak English. I'm like, a lot of people speak English, but even if they don't, it doesn't matter. Why are you talking bad about this? What did they do to you? Like, I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are you like this? And I did not like that. And it's like over time, he did it less because I guess he realized like, oh, she doesn't like that. But like he still would do it. And he had did it right before we entered the little pathway of this little like tree area that we had to walk through. And so to stop him from saying whatever it was about the little people, I just sung me a little song. Y'all, it wasn't even really a little song. It was just a couple of little lyrics for real. And it wasn't like a song that existed. It was something I made up in my head. And I think it was about monkeys because I was happy about the fact that I seen the monkeys earlier. And the song was really like 2 seconds. And then he was just like, girl, you're going to get us murdered out here. I said, I'm going to do what? He was just like, you're being such a tourist. Like, you're really singing American songs while we're in the woods, and these people could just come up to us and just shank us and just take our money. Like, why are you making a block hire? And I'm just like, not after you loudly said that these people look like they off the Grinch movie. Excuse me? When you said all of these people got the same face and they look like Whoville members, are you for real? I'm like, not you saying these people are the citizens of Whoville, loud as hell on the train, and now I gotta stop singing a song about monkeys. Yo, I was hot, and I really wanted to fight this man. Because I'm just like, if anything, you're gonna get us murdered. You're gonna get us beat up because you're talking bad about people and you don't even know if they can understand the language that you're speaking. They could be like, who is he talking to? They could have had a bad day. Or they could have just wanted to do something about it because they tired of you talking. Like, and you talking about me singing a sweet little song for 2 seconds as we walk to the subway. Please be fucking for real. I'm like, shut up, yo. But I didn't even say anything. I just stopped singing. I just stopped speaking altogether. I didn't say anything else until we actually got to the subway. And he was talking and whatever, and then he started laughing like, haha, I just can't believe you really was singing an American song while we're out here making us look like tourists, da 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 da. I'm just like, bro, we're 2 black people in a very white country. We already look like tourists. What are you talking about? Like, please be for real. Like, I was really on the verge of just knocking him out. I'm like, have you ever felt this before? Like, he really made me so bad. Because I'm just like, you gotta be for real at some point in time. I'm not telling you, you gotta be fucking for real all the time, but like, so, we get to the subway. And like, while we're on the subway, he's just like, oh, I really had the best day. Like, this is the best day I've ever had. Not like this is the best day of the trip. This is the best day I ever had. Everything was so fun. I got to do so much new stuff. And the weather was so great. And the food was so great. And I just love it here. And this is just the best. And I'm like, of course it was. Because you wanted me to guesstimate exactly what it was that you wanted. And I guesstimated properly. And I just fucking bend it to your will so you wouldn't be a crybaby all day. And I planned everything and I made things exactly the way that I figured you would want them to be. All day, y'all know what I did? I like touched the top of his back, you know, guided him places a little bit. I talked in a different tone. I did not talk in Tisha's voice. I talked in this sweet little baby girl voice because he recently said that I talked too aggressive. Okay, so I needed to be a certain type of way. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it because I want you to shut the fuck up. And so I'm just like, okay. And so I talked to him like he was a 5-year-old the entire day. I'm like, oh, would you like this? Is this better for you? Do you want this? Oh, we should go this way. Oh, why didn't you do this? Oh, you should look at this. All day, the entire day. At no point in time did I ever say anything that made any type of like friction at all. I was just like, I'm going to treat you like you're 7 years old because that is what you need. And I'm going to like have to touch you at some point in time because apparently I'm not affectionate enough. But you know, that's because I don't fucking like you and you're annoying. Because nobody that knows me would ever say anything like that. But yeah, the entire day I catered to him as if he was the Prince of Zamunda. Okay? So that's how it was the entire day. And he's just like, this is literally the best day I've ever had. I'm so happy that we got to spend this day together. Thank you for planning the day and considering me the whole day. I'm just like, I fucking bet. And so yeah, I gave him the little rings. And he was just like, oh my gosh, this is so thoughtful. You got me a present. You was thinking about me when you were at the mall. I'm so happy. And I'm just like, y'all, because like this man been pissing me off for 4 days. And then on the 5th day, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't that bad. He was okay. I'm not gonna lie. He was okay. But only because I was being an entire different person. Because I realized that you can't just give it to him straight. You can't say, hey, let's go here. Because he's gonna be like, no. Just for the sake of saying no. He's just gonna say no. Because he likes to be rebellious. He likes to make his own decisions. But also once he makes them, he likes to complain that you didn't help him make the decision. And so being as though that's the case, I really had to trick him into doing things that I knew that he would love to do. Because I couldn't just say, hey, we're going to do this. Because he's just like, I'm not listening to no woman. No woman going to tell me what I'm fit to do. I'm going to do what I want. And so it's just like, since he liked that, I really just had to get him to do shit. But it was just a mess. And like, at the end of the day, he did have the best day of his life. So great. And I was happy for it. You know, I genuinely was happy that he was happy. Because, like, the last 3 days, he just was crying and complaining and crying and complaining and complaining and crying. And I was just like, I have to get us out of this. I have to get us out of this because I cannot survive like this. And so, at the end of the night, took my shower. He's like, oh, I'm about to go out and I'm going to get a drink. Do you want to come? I said, you know what? I'm a little tired. My foot still hurts. I'm just going to chill in the bed. Thank you for inviting me. Maybe I'll take you up on that drink tomorrow. So, that's what happened, okay? Alright? Y'all hear that? Okay. Y'all ain't gonna fucking believe what happened the next day. So, we wake up, okay? This is day 6. Yes, 6? Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, for today, we were supposed to go to this place. It's like art, moving art. Okay, that's my description of it. It was moving art. And so we wanted to go there earlier in the morning because it was on the side of town that we weren't really familiar with, and we weren't going to stay on that side of town. We was going to come back to the other side of town and do a bunch of stuff over there. So we going to this place. Before we go, I'm like, hey, my foot really hurts. My foot hurts worse than it did yesterday. So like, I don't want to do too much walking around because like my foot is really I need a new foot for real. So I'm like, and the pain that's in my foot is like inside my foot. It's not like I hit it or anything like that. It's like something in my foot is messed up and I cannot put my foot completely on the ground. And so I made this very clear before we went out for the day. Because I'm just like, all that walking we did the last 5 days, none of that. And so he's like, all right, cool. We're going to go to this place to see the moving art. And then after that, we'll like assess the situation. I said, okay. So we go to the place. We're on our way there. We do walk 10 minutes to the subway so that we can get to the spot. I wasn't too mad about the 10 minutes to the subway because I was just like, all right, it's just 10 minutes. And I already knew that we were going to have to walk to that subway in order to get to that side of town. But once we got off the subway, there was a bus we could have caught from the subway all the way to the place with the moving art. And he didn't want to take the bus. And I'm just like, my foot is hurt and I'm in pain. And he's like, oh, I thought like you could just power through, like it's just a little walk. And I'm just like, all right. Okay. And so we go on this long walk. This walk was like one of the longest walks we took. Other than going to the carnival, this was the longest walk that we took. I swear, we were walking for like 25 minutes. And I'm just like, if I told you that my foot was messed up, why did you just make me walk 10 minutes to the subway, to get off the subway, to walk 25 minutes to this daggone spot? Why could we have not gotten on a bus? The bus was only like the equivalent of like $3. That is a lot just to go one way. But look, let's be for real. My foot is about to fall off. So I'm over here limping for my life. And I'm trying my hardest not to let my foot touch the floor. Because when I tell you my foot hurt, it was not a game. The day before was a game. The day before was a game. It was not a game anymore. I was in agony. And so I'm just like walking this 25 minutes. And so we finally get to the spot. Obviously, once we get to the spot, I have an attitude, okay? I have an attitude, but I was like, he's not going to know I have an attitude because that is not even going to be conducive to us having a beautiful day today. I need us to have a beautiful day because yesterday I didn't have to hear him crying and complaining at the end of the day, and I don't want to hear that today. I don't want to hear that today either. So we're gonna rock out. And we saw the moving art. It was not as impressive as I wanted it to be. And I also overpaid. I overpaid because if you aren't there at sunset, you don't get to see part of the exhibit. And I paid for that part of the exhibit without realizing that we ain't gonna be able to do that early in the morning. I didn't know it wasn't an all-day thing until we got to the end of the exhibit, and I was just like, well, where's the big thing that I wanted to see? And then she was just like, oh, that's only at night. You could come back later if you want to. I'm not coming back later. And we was there at like 10 a.m. So it wasn't like I was going to wait. Because I'm like, bro, sunset is like 7. I'm not standing over here from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I'm also not doing that 25-minute walk again. So I was just like, we just lost out. We basically just lost out. And so he's just like, all right, well, let's sit down and let's like calculate our next moves. And so he was just like, you want to go to the movies? I'm just like, to see what? He's just like, he said to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, okay? I didn't necessarily want to see that, but I was like, you know what? If that's what you want to see, we're going to see it. And so I was just like, all right, we could go see that. What time you thinking? He was just like, oh, we really could just go right now. I said, okay. I'm just like, all right, look up the theaters or whatever. And he was just like, all right, I don't want to go to the theater that we already passed before, because I think on like day 2, after we went to one of the museums, we saw a theater. And we went inside and everything because we was thinking about going to the movies, but then we changed our mind. But the way the theater is set up, like that theater, like next to the title, it will tell you if it's in English. It had like a couple of letters next to it, and the letters meant this is in English. And so that's, the lady told us, if it got that next to it, that means it's in English no matter what movie theater you go to. I said, all right, cool. And so I'm just like, all right, well, check online, see if it's in English, we'll go to that one. He's like, okay. And so he wanted to be fancy, and he didn't want to go to that movie theater. He was just like, no, that movie theater where the tourists go at. I want to go to a real movie theater. I want to go where the people are, whatever. And I'm just like, it's your world. If you want to go to another movie theater, we can go to that movie theater. Just please make sure that it's in English. That's all. And he was like, okay. So he looked it up. He's like, all right, bet. We're going here. And he was like, I know your foot hurts, so we're going to get an Uber. I'm just like, thank you. After you just made my foot problem worse because you made me walk 25 minutes. But thank you. I'm glad that you're finally giving a fuck a little bit. And so we get the Uber. And the Uber drops us off at the movie theater. When I tell y'all we were in a desolate area, like little tumbleweeds rolling down the street. Like there were no people outside. Every building looked like some Resident Evil type because we literally was in the middle of nowhere. Like there wasn't no cars driving down the street. Like when the Uber dropped us off, he sat in the middle of the road and ain't nobody come the whole time. He's just like, I don't know if this is the spot or not. Have y'all been here before? I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I guess we just gonna get out of the car. So we get out of the car and we're looking for the entrance of the movie theater because the movie theater got moved from the location that was online and it got moved like a couple doors down. How was we supposed to know that? We're not from here and we cannot read any of this because it's not in English. So we're looking around, we're like pulling on doors aren't opening, and we like, all right, okay. And we walk a little bit, we look around, and then we're like, okay, this door opens, let's just walk in. Maybe this is it. And then we see an elevator, we just like, all right. We click the elevator, we get on, and then we see on the thing, it's like, oh, this is the movies. If you go to this floor, you'll get to the movies. So we just like, okay, mind you, the building we walked into looked abandoned. The elevator we got on looked like it was about to fall out of the sky. So we get on there, we go up. Once we actually get into the movie theater looked regular. It looked like it's functioning. There's people there. There's customers and, actual employees there. It looked like a real place. To get in there, it did not. So we walk over to it, and then like the lady at the desk, she does not really speak English. Because, as he said, this is in the town. This is not in the touristy area. And then he's just like, hey, do you got any tickets for Ninja Turtles? And she like, oh, we do, but it's not in English. And he was just like, none of them are in English? She was like, no, none of the movies here are in English. And so then I look at him. And he looks at me. And I'm just like, it's okay. Let's just go and reassess the situation. It's all right. And the entire time I'm just like, I literally asked you like 7 times to check if it was in English. Why did you not check to see if it's in English? We are not in America. Can you please, at any point in time, do something that is logical? Because you're really pissing me the fuck off. And I'm just like, we walked all around the world to get inside this building. On my hurt foot. Y'all already know I barely got a foot. I'm walking around, limp, every single where, trying to figure out where the entrance to this door is. We walked past the entrance like 3 times trying to figure out where the entrance is. You just made me do all of that just for them not to have the movie in English. I'm about to bang you. I'm just like, I do not hit people. But this, you're pushing me. So, we go. We leave out, and he was just like, okay, well, there's a spot across the street that we can get food from. And I'm just like, it is? He was like, yeah, we was going to get food after the movies, but I guess we could just get it now. And I'm just like, okay. And so we walk across the street. We go over to the guy. The guy's just like, oh, we only doing drinks until 6 o'clock or something. At this time, it's like, no, he said we're only doing drinks until 3 or 4. At this time, it's like 12:30. I don't know, 1. Let's say it's 1. So I'm like, are we about to wait here for 2 hours for them to serve food? Like, are you for real? We about to wait here for 2 hours for them to serve food. He was like, oh, I didn't check to see if they're open at this time. And I'm just like, I'm so heated at this point. And so I just wasn't speaking, because if I'm not going to say anything nice, I'm not going to say anything. Because I'm not starting drama with anybody. And I already know that my anger will go away in like a cool 15 minutes unless you add something to it. If you don't add nothing to it, it's going to go away in 15 minutes. But if I get you mad, you're going to be mad at me forever. Like, you're going to be mad at me forever. And I don't have time for that. So I'm just like, it's whatever. I'm just like, oh, it's fine. We can go to the spot right here, because it was like an Asian spot across the street from there. He was just like, well, we just had Asian food. So, let's see if we can like find something else. Actually, let's just walk around. I'm like, did I just tell him that my foot was about to fall off the bone? Or did I just imagine that I told him my foot was about to fall off the bone? And so he said that, and I couldn't hide the look on my face, because at this point I'm like, he playing with me. He playing with me. He think I'm a bitch, and he playing with me. I must be a hoe. Like, that's what this is. Like, he don't care. Like, I'm literally the scum of the earth. I don't matter. Nothing matters but whatever it is that he want to do. Because what do you mean, let's walk around? And look at what? The desolate land? There's nothing but tumbleweeds and broken cars on this street. What are we looking at? I'm hungry and my foot is falling off the bone. I'm like, bruh, I'm dying. What are you saying right now? And he's just like, after we walked like 3 minutes, then he's just like, oh yeah, you did say your foot was hurt. Is it still hurting? And I'm just like, did you think a pain that pungent would fade away in the time span of 7 minutes? Yes, my foot still hurts. Obviously, I didn't say that. I said, yeah, it really hurts. It hurts very bad. I would really like to sit down as soon as possible. And he's just like, oh, okay. And by this point, I didn't do the prissy fake voice that I had been doing the entire time for him because I was about to bang him in his throat. So like, I just had my regular voice. I'm just like, I would really like to sit down. Like, that's all I had to say. I would really like to sit down. Because I'm just like, I'm on the edge. And so he's just like, okay. We'll go back to the little Asian spot that was across the street. I said, all right. We go in there and we order our food. No, we go in there. It's like an actual restaurant. So we go to the paper. The lady, she gives us a little paper. She's like, sit anywhere you want. We sit down. We're looking at all the food. He's like, have you been to a place like this before? I'm like, no, I haven't been to a place like this before. Like, I have, but I haven't. Not to sit inside, but like I ordered food and it was like similar to like what is on this paper, but da. And so we talking a little bit, whatever. And then, I don't know how we got on this topic, but we started talking about like past relationships or something. I don't even remember. And then, like, I had told him like, oh, I was with this one guy for 3 years, and I was with this other guy like a year and a half, and I was dating this girl for a year, whatever. That's what I said. And he was just like, wow, like in disbelief. In disbelief, he said, wow. And I was just like, he's trying to bait me. I'm not going to do it. And so I just started asking him about his relationships or whatever. But somehow we got back to me. And I told y'all I'd be avoiding certain conversations with him because I know what he's trying to do. And I'm not going to let him do it. And so he's just like, oh, I just find it very hard to believe that you were in a relationship with somebody for that long. And I'm just like, why? And he was just like, I don't know. It just seems like, you know, you're like the least considerate person in the world. And I said, like when I say I literally just was like, I'm like, why would you say that? And he was just like, you just refuse to open up. And you also are like just so not affectionate. Like, I don't understand how you would maintain a relationship with somebody that long if you're just like so not affectionate. You're like never affectionate at all. And I'm just like, so what you're saying to me is you believe that I am the least considerate person in the entire world. Like, dead or alive, I'm the least considerate person. He's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you are the least considerate person in the world. It's not what I believe. It's just who you are. And I was like, okay, so let's just recap this. I lack the ability to show affection. I refuse to open up at all. And I am the least considerate person in the world. Dead or alive. He's just like, yes. And I'm like, okay. And like after that, I didn't need to say anything else. I didn't need to have a conversation with him. I'm like, that's perfectly fine. Sure. Okay. And so then he was just like, do you think we're friends? And I was just like, well, after you said that, of course not. Of course not. Because why would you want to be friends with somebody like that? And if you were my friend, why would you say something like that to me? So obviously, no, that is not the case. We are not friends. And he was just like, did you plan for us to be friends? I'm just like, well, it seemed like that was the move. It seemed like we were going to become closer friends on this trip. I thought, we already were friends. But clearly, you do not want me as a friend, and that's fine. Perfectly fine. And he's just like, okay. And then he goes to eat the rest of his food. And like, I continue to eat my food because it was busting. And I was just like, I'm not going to have any more conversations with you about this because this is extremely fucking ridiculous at this point. And so then he tries to start up a conversation with me again, but brings it right back to that topic. And he's just like, yeah, so like we would be able to be friends, but like all of my friends are more considerate. Do you even have any long-term friends? And I'm like, I literally have over 4 friendships that are longer than like 10 years. One of them is actually about to hit the 17-year mark. Like, I have friends that I've had for a long time. And he's just like, wow, that's really crazy. I would have never thought you would say something like that. And I'm just like, Like, is your whole point to just try to insult me? Because, like, I really don't get, like, I don't get it. Like, at all. But I'm just like, I'm not about to keep, you got it. Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, because I just feel like, you know, being as though you don't know how to show affection in any type of way, and you always want everything done for you, and you never want to do anything for anybody else, and you just do stuff without thinking about somebody else's feelings, like, all the time. I feel like nobody will want to be your friend. And I'm just like, where is this nigga getting this from? And so by this point, the anger turned into, like, genuine curiosity. Because I'm just like, fuck is you talking about? I'm like, nigga, fuck is you saying? And so I'm like, all right, okay, so yesterday, right? And he's like, yes. I'm like, yesterday, I created an entire plan for the whole entire day for us to do all these things that you like, and things that you haven't experienced before, and things that you would find very memorable for this trip. I did that. And then I also made sure that you had time to yourself, because you don't like to be around people 24 hours. And so I gave you time to yourself, and during your time to yourself, I went and I bought you gifts, because, you know, that might be part of your love language, and I don't want you to miss out on that. So I decided to get you some gifts. And also, this is a part of me considering you, because you said I didn't consider you in the past. So I decided to get you some gifts. And then I came back and we got together and we did some things that you enjoyed very much. And at the end of the day, you said that this was the best day that you ever had. So I find it hard to believe that I'm the least considerate person in the world if I've done these things for you. And he's just like, well, you see, I had to convince you to do all of those things for me. And I'm just like, you had to convince me to do all those things for you? I'm like, you act like this is not a plan that I made up. I asked you exactly what it was that you wanted from me, and you literally told me, I'm not telling you shit. So being as though that's the case, how did you coerce me into doing it? How? I'm just like, I already planned to do things like this, but I did it in the wrong way previously. And so instead of just planning everything and telling you this was what we were going to do, I tried to fucking say it in a way that you would accept it more. I already did this whole thing, this whole day that we did, I already did that the day before. We already had a similar day like that. But you were mad because I told you what we were going to do. So this time I didn't tell you what we was going to do. That was the only difference between yesterday and the day before that. Do you not realize that? And he's just like, well, when you put it like that, I guess, you know, da-da-da. Like, he just said something stupid. And I'm just like, I would just like to say that at all points in time on this trip, I considered you heavily. I purposely didn't do certain things and didn't say certain things because you did not like it. You said that I didn't say thank you enough, so I started saying thank you more. Then you said that my thank yous were aggressive, so I started speaking more sweetly to you. I'm just like, I literally catered to your will the entire trip. So me being inconsiderate, I don't see it. I'm so sorry. I'm just like, and there's no way that you're ever going to convince me, the person that always goes out of their way to do stuff for other people, whether it's going to benefit them or not. You're not going to convince that person that they're inconsiderate. I'm sorry. It's just not who I am, and you cannot make me believe that. He was just like, okay, I'm just trying to be a good friend to you and just tell you who you are, because obviously your friend's been lying to you for years. I'm just like, oh, my friends have been lying to me for years. I am the least considerate person in the world, and I am lacking the ability to be affectionate. Okay. I refuse to open up. I'm like, I literally have a YouTube channel where I tell niggas my business. Please be for real. But I was like, you know what? I have the inability to be open with people. Yes, okay, cool. I'm like, we cannot make it make sense because you are absolutely ridiculous. And thank you very much for letting me know these things. Sorry to inconvenience you. Sorry that I had you come on this trip with me and I just ruined your life by you coming on this trip with me. And, you know, I just really apologize for that. And I just hope that the rest of your trip can be good for you. And so he started talking and everything. Don't really remember what he said because I was on my phone looking for plane tickets to go back to my city. Because I'm just like, you got me completely fucked up. I'm like, I don't know who you think you talking to. But I'm like, Wrong one. Sorry. And so what was supposed to happen is the next day we were supposed to wake up and we was going to go from that country to a country that was kind of close, and we were going to take like a 2-hour plane ride over to the other country, and then we were going to stay there for like 4 more days or whatever. But what did I do? I got my flight back to Baltimore. It costed me a pretty little penny. I got on my goddamn plane. I got on my plane and I went back to Baltimore because I'm like, what you're not ready to do is try to tell me who I am. You did not make any suggestions or say maybe I should do this or da 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 da. It was just, these are facts. You are the least considerate person, dead or alive. You are this way. I don't know how you even are able to maintain relationships because you're literally the worst person in the world. You say that to me and then you smile at me and just be like, yeah, and I'm just trying to be a good friend, so that's why I told you. If it was facts, I would have given it to him. If he would have said, Tisha, you are very aggressive, I'd be like, you got that. If she said, Tisha, you have a potty mouth, you need to curse less, I'd have been like, you got that. But what you're not ready to say is what you just said. I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I know who I am, and I know that I need to not curse as much. I know that. Am I going to do it? Debatable. But I do know that. And I know that sometimes I am fairly aggressive. Like, if you just push me a little bit too much, too consistently, you're going to get something. But, you know, I know this about me. But you're not about to tell me I'm a certain type of way and just try to say that it's a law and it's facts and I'm just going to go along with it because who are you? Who actually are you? You're nobody. You're nobody to me. Like, you're not my mom, you're not my dad, you're not my man, you're not my girl, you're not my brother, you're not my sister. Your opinions do not matter. Their opinions matter, but my opinion of me matter more than anybody. I don't care. Like, what are you saying? And so when we got back to the hotel, he's just like, Tisha, I just want to tell you that I just really had a great time with you all these days since we've been here. And I can't wait for us to go to the other country so that you can hang out with me and my friends. And I can really just show you like everything that that country has to offer because it's just so many things there that we can do. And I'm just like, and he was just like, yeah, today was just a really good day. Yesterday was even better, but today was really good. And I'm just really happy and satisfied with the trip that we've had so far. And I'm just like, he was just like, yeah, I don't want to tell you this, but I guess I would just go ahead and tell you. Like, I really do love you. And I just really love being around you. And I'm just like, didn't have any words. I couldn't even say anything because I'm just like, are you for real right now? Like, dead ass? Like, I'm like, dead ass. Like, this is, after you just said that we aren't friends and you don't even understand how somebody could be friends with me, you tell me that you love being around me and this has been a very great trip and you love me. Those are the words that you said. You love me. That's what you said. And this was a great experience. After you just said that I was the scum of the earth. Okay. I'm like, he's mentally unstable. Like, there's no way. There's nothing else that I can do to explain this man's behavior because no way that you just really tried to cook me in a restaurant with things that weren't facts that you just said had to be facts and it just was what it was and I just needed to accept it and learn from it and change my behavior and my way of thinking. You said that to me, but then you say this. You can't love me if I am that type of way because if I'm the things that you described in that restaurant, I'm really the worst. Like, I'm the absolute worst. Like, you know, it could get worse than that, but like, it's still the worst. Like, I'm really on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a cool 2. If I'm that person that you said I was in a restaurant, I'm a cool 2. Don't nobody want to love a 2. Don't nobody want to hang out with a 2. It's a 2. Like, it doesn't matter how cute you are. If your personality is absolutely trash and you're a terrible human being, you just are a terrible human being. So, being as though that's the case, I don't understand why you just love hanging out with me and this was a great experience and you love me and you can't wait to go to the next country with me so that we can spend time together and do different things than the ones that we've been doing here, and you'll just get to show me the world. I don't know how we got from the restaurant conversation to that conversation we had in the hotel once we got home and took our showers. I don't know. I don't know how we got from there to there, but guess who didn't give a fuck? This girl. Because I was going home. I was like, no way that you continuously mistreated me for like a whole 7 days, and on the very last day you decided to just say all of these disrespectful things to me. Not even like the fact that you said them, it was disrespectful. It was the fact that no matter what I said out my mouth, you didn't care. You wanted to cut me off at every sentence and then also tell me that what you said was not opinions, it was just facts, and I need to grow the fuck up. Like, it's the way that you say things, not just what you say. And then it's also the fact that you're not letting me say anything. So the combination of that, very disrespectful. But, you know, it's okay. Disrespect me all you want, because I'm going back to my country. I'm going back to my country, and I'm going to be with my people. Like, I don't have time for this. And I was just like, this will be the last time that I ever go on a trip with somebody by myself. I'm not going on a trip with nobody else by myself unless I know that they absolutely love and adore me. Because me giving somebody a chance to like have new experiences with and stuff like that just wasn't it. I shouldn't have did that. He was a person that I did not know. Like, before we got on the trip, there were signs that I shouldn't have went on this trip with him. But I was just like, well, maybe it's because of this. I need to stop doing it. Not when it comes to going on long-term trips with people. I could do that if we just going to the movies, but I cannot do that if we going out the country. No. Like, I'm not. Nobody can ever catch me acting like this again. Because when I tell y'all, I really, like, at the end of the day, I told my best friend, I'm like, bro, I had a good trip. Like, and I wasn't lying when I said that to him. I genuinely felt like I had a good trip because of all of the things that I did when I was not with this man. I'm just like, I went to the mall. I had some great food. I saw some nature. I went on a hike at some point. I'm just like, I was in the sauna. I had went to the gym. I was cutting up in the gym. I'm like, boy, I reached a new PR in that gym. I'm just like, I had a great time. I was outside in the sun. I was like, the weather was nice. I was just like, I just had such a good time. I'm like, I got a couple good pictures. I'm just like, I got to talk to my dad. I got to talk to my mom. I got to not work. I was just like, this was just so great. And I just had a great time. But every moment that I had with this man, every moment that I had with that man, he made sure if more than an hour had passed, he found a way to annoy the whole shit out of me. And I ignored it because I don't let people round me up. But like, after a certain point in time, it just started trickling in and it started building up and it just adds up and it just becomes entirely too much. And one thing I'm not going to do is cuss somebody out or be violent towards somebody or anything like that. Like, bro, you got it. Like, you literally got it. I'm just going to exit the whole situation. See you later. Because you're not going to get a rise out of me. I'm not going to jail for anybody, especially not in somebody else's country. I'm like, no. And then also, just the fact that he changed, his range of emotions, like, changed so quickly. I'm just like, I'm scared of you. Because, like, if I said all that stuff about somebody in a restaurant, I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it. And, like, the fact that you flipped so quick, I'm like, it was literally, like, not that far apart. And you flipped. Nah, son, I'm so sorry. I cannot be around you. Like, you are mentally unstable and you might take me out if, like, I don't agree to do some things that you want to do. You might just be like, you know what? Offender. Machete. Like, I don't know what type of time you on because I literally cannot predict what you're going to do next because you're insane. Like, you're wild. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you cannot be trusted at all and I have to get out of the situation. So I didn't even tell him I was getting on a plane the next morning. We got to the airport and I was just like, yeah, I'm going back to Baltimore. And he's just like, oh, wow. I'm like, my foot isn't getting any better and I need to go to the doctors. That was true. That was true, but that was only 40% of it because I would have dealt with this little dumb foot. I would have. It was about to fall off. It really was, and I'm glad that I came home. But I would have dealt with my foot if he wasn't acting the way he was acting. Like, if I was there with a bunch of people that I just loved to be around, people that were nice, people that genuinely cared for me and wanted to have a good time and wanted to experience new things and just do everything, I would have just stayed. But it was the fact that he continuously disrespected me, continuously decided that he was going to have an attitude about the smallest things. It was just like those things. I was just like, nah, I'm not about to stay with you for 12 days of you doing that. Are you for real? Like, once I got to day 6, like the end of day 6, I was like, nah. So day 7 came and I was like, yeah, we gonna eat breakfast together. Yeah, we gonna chill for real. Once it's time for us to get on this plane, I'm out of here though. I'm not going to the plane you're going to. I hope you can get the money back for it. If you get the money back for it, don't even give it to me. Keep it. I'm like, I don't even want us to have no interaction after this. Like, when I see you around, I'm gonna say hi. That's all I got for you. Because you literally played in my face. And you really pretended to be somebody that you wasn't. Because you was not like this before we went on this trip. You were literally one of the rudest people I've ever met. And on scales of being inconsiderate, you are very high. Because the fact that you literally want me to be limping around on my little foot when we could have got on the bus. And the fact that you literally want me to be limping around on my little foot when we could have just went to the restaurant. It's just like things like that. That is being inconsiderate. Because this is my health at this point. You said I'm being inconsiderate of your feelings. My foot's about to fall off. I'm like, I'll try to consider your feelings, but those things are things that are debatable. You considering my foot is not a debatable thing. like my foot is about to fall off and you're playing in my face. So it's just like, yeah, we were not meant to be on that vacation together, and I'm glad that I got off of that vacation. This story has been an hour long, and I did not tell you every single thing that happened in those last 3 days. But guess what? I'm going to just make like a short video that's probably like 10 minutes saying, oh, I had a conversation with a person and it was like this, like I've done in the past, because I've already told 2 stories about this man, I think. And so like, I could give y'all another one of those that's going to be a short little cute one, but I wanted to tell y'all in chronological order the foolery that I encountered and how it affected me. And y'all, when I came back home, I had this little thing on my foot and I was limping around work and it was a mess. But my foot healed and I be using both of my feet and I be landing flat on the ground and everything be great and I'm very healthy and I'm very nice to that man when I see him. So, you know, he can never say that I was ever mean to him and I mistreated him. He probably will still say that just because, you know, it's something wrong up there. But, you know, I tried my best. And at all points in time, I did try to consider him. And I feel like it was nothing that I could have done that would have made him happy. Because as I told y'all, the whole 5th day was genuinely just about him and making him happy. So the fact that even after that, he still complained and he said, well, I had to force you to do that. Being as though that was what he said after I spent so much time looking up things and trying to make sure that he was going to be happy, I'm going to say that there was nothing that I could have done. I'm thinking maybe it was something that he wanted from this trip that I was never going to give him. And y'all can decide what that is on your own, and I won't be saying that out loud. But, yeah, I just think he thought this trip was going to be something completely different. And when he got the trip that he got, he was upset with that type of trip. I'm just like, last time I checked, you said we was friends. And you friend-zoned me before we got on this trip. And you didn't pay for this trip. I paid for this trip. So, being as though that's the case, it is what it is. So, thank you guys for staying tuned this entire time. This is a very long video. I appreciate every one of y'all. Like the video, of course. Like, if you like me and if you like the content, just like the video. And if you didn't subscribe and you watched this long video, it's crazy. Subscribe. Like, what are you doing? So, yes, for me, Storytime Tish, that is over. Peace and love.